Um, reply to Inmendham on the subject of ethical considerations of a potential parent towards its offspring. No, I don't think I am getting it wrong. I'm perfectly happy with your analogy as a description of the ethical consideration we would have as an individual towards our children. The thing that I think you're getting wrong, in my opinion, is well, you said something interesting. You said that you wouldn't want to accept my amendment because, and I quote, there is no evidence, no correlation between one person not procreating and other people procreating. That there's no automatic increase somewhere else. Now, first up, I think I made it clear that I wasn't talking merely about people, though I'm not even sure that your statement is true for people either. Now, maybe that's not immediately obvious. I mean, it's immediately obvious to me that statement can't possibly be true. So I've been just thinking of ways of. I was trying to think of other analogies, but I think that perhaps the easiest thing to do is see as people seem to get, well, I do anyway, get tied up with the analogies, and people tend to focus on the wrong things, so you don't get your point across. Is to consider on the day that you were conceived, the biosphere at that time was as large, more or less, as it is today, and of the hundreds of billions of creatures that were alive on the day you were conceived, 99.9999999% of those are dead, perhaps uninterestingly or whatever, but the point is that 99.9% of them have left no descendants that are alive today. So, in effect, if not intent, 99.9% of life takes the fail-safe option of leaving no descendants, and yet the biosphere and presumably the harmosphere, if you like, the net amount of harm going on in the world, has probably not changed a great deal. And so I think any ethic considering this balances of harm has to take that fact into consideration. Otherwise it's not a useful agent of change for the better in the world. So if I was to come up with another analogy, or borrow one from the ones that you use, is to consider, say, a party of there's a party going on, everyone's drunk, but to varying degrees, and some irresponsible person has brought their child along to the party, and they're in bed or something, but they're sick, and they're getting sicker, and they need to be taken to the hospital. Who And I'm not saying, you know, I'm not trying to buy into the you're doing anything with your life thing. There's any kind of purpose, you know, like purpose or anything like that. I'm just, there's some reason that they need to drive a car, and the car will be driven no matter what decisions people make. And so in that situation, the decision making process for the individual is not so much what's the fail-safe thing to do, because there is no fail-safe option. If the soberest person in that group, you know, they're still drunk, they're still over the limit, but the sober enough person in there says, well, I'm not fit to drive, I can't possibly drive, the best thing for me to do is not to drive, then the drunkest guy in the room is just going to say, oh yeah, I can, you know, the drunker you are, the more likely you are to drink and drive, right? So the less inhibition you have about it. And so the thing is not comparing what your action in the world should be with respect to this kind of zero tolerance for risk. It's more of a case of comparing it with is my action going to be more or less disastrous compared to what everybody else is doing.